So it's great to be here. I want to talk about some of the things that our firm has been focused on from a problem-solving perspective recently. I've been spending a lot of time recently studying generational migration trends. Riveting, right? But basically, if you think about it, my role is I'm responsible for the growth of the trading business at TDAmeritrade, which is very much a today problem to solve. But when I look ahead down the road, I'm really concerned about what's going to happen with future generations. So if you look at this graph, what we're basically looking at is from the census in 2010. In the green, we're looking at the population of baby boomers. And you can see that was close to 30%. As we look a few years down the road to 2020, that population is going to drop down below 20%. And the millennials are going to be at 19% of the population. And pretty much everyone in financial services has always been talking to the baby boomers and has always been positioning their business for the baby boomers. But a few years down the road, we're going to be targeting a very different individual investor. So I've been spending a lot of time studying these individuals and their behaviors and attitudes. And a few themes have emerged that have me really concerned. 11% of Gen Zers believe that the stock market is the best way to prepare for retirement. That's not many. And if you look at the Generation Z, 40% believe that a savings account is the best way to save for retirement. And that is concerning because, as we all know, the best way to build wealth over time is through the stock market. So we teamed up with two guys who are millennials themselves, Andy and Landon Swan, small company out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they're great thought leaders at the intersection of social and finance. And kind of the genesis of the problem that we gave them was, how do we get in front of these young kids and teach them to think differently about the stock market? How do we get them less concerned about the risks of the stock market and get them to cultivate a genuine interest? And what you're looking at here on the screen is a graphic that we found on Huffington Post, which was kind of the genesis for their idea. And you can see the 10 publicly traded companies in the middle of the screen are the top 10 companies in the diversified foods sector. And most people know that Nestle Crunch rolls up to Nestle, but they might not know all the other brands that roll up to Nestle, like Kiehl's, like Nespresso. But young people today have an amazing sense of brands and labels. They're genuinely interested in brands and know a lot about them. And so we thought, what if we could get young people today to think about the products that they interact with, not just from the perspective of, I brush my teeth with Crest, I get a pumpkin spice latte at the beginning of the day and a Maker's Mark at the end of the day. What if they could look at things in terms of just having a different lens, that the products that they interact with, the products that their friends are talking about on a regular basis, roll up to publicly traded companies, and that if they invested in those companies, potentially they could make some money. And that was the genesis of the idea behind Likefolio. It's a new site, likefolio.com, and basically what it does is it combs through all of your social interactions. So it looks at all of the mentions, all of your status updates, all of your tweets to surface the publicly traded companies that you and your friends are talking about the most. And it's not just the companies, but it's at the product level as well. So if you say, I'm enjoying a pumpkin spice latte, it's going to know that the publicly traded company that you're talking about is Starbucks. It even knows that the Bloomin' Onion rolls up to Outback Steakhouse. So it's an amazing database. And here you can see Landon Swan, one of the investors, his Likefolio is up $1,000 over the course of the past year from just a $5,000 investment in the companies that he's talked about the most. How it plays out, here you can see a 12-month price performance chart of Yelp. And as you hover over the different bubbles on this chart, it's going to show what your friends had to say about that particular stock. So here, my hair salon mentions, if you go onto Yelp and you check in and you do a review, they'll give you 15% off of your haircut. So that got me thinking, wow, I mean, they really want people to get on Yelp. My friend Jason Miller says, wanted to Yelp you guys to spread the good word. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, wow, Yelp is a verb. This company is now a verb. That's the product developer's dream. And you can see the 12-month price performance of that stock. Just a $2,000 investment is now worth $2,600. We could do the same thing over Netflix, but it's just a different way for young people to think about the stock market. The one other thing that I wanted to just mention really quickly, in the interest of time, another thing that we're building out is a new site called TDAmeritrade U. And basically, what we're doing with TDAmeritrade U is we're taking our active trader paper trading software, and we're putting it in colleges and universities completely free of charge to allow young people who are learning about the stock market the ability to trade and see how one another are performing. So it's basically a virtual environment for them to kick the tires and see how they would do in a trading environment. What you can see here is a professor, Dr. Smith. He's teaching 4 classes, and he's running competitions in each class. So one of them's on futures, one of them is on options trading. And he can see exactly how his students are taking the insights and the concepts that they're learning in class and putting them into practice in living, breathing markets. And then I'll show you a view of the student experience. So Angela Livingston is trading on the Thinkorswim platform, and she can see how not only how her trades are performing, but also how her friends' performance is as well. So let's say here you can see Angela's in her class rank is 7th in the paper trading competition versus Matt McGuire, who's in 1st place. She can click on Matt's name and see exactly what he's doing to outperform her. So there's a learning element along with that. And so I think both what Christy and I have both been talking about are the challenges that we're facing relevant to how young people are thinking about the markets and innovative solutions that can really help them think about things differently.
Thank you. Good stuff. You got it.